as the children of Israel are marching, they are marching, right, in order of the tribes. And what is in the middle? In the middle is the Ark of the Covenant. Well, in the millennium, you can see that the tribes also form where you have those north and those south of Jerusalem. And so we're illustrating that the camp of the saints means that you're marching. One order of the camp is you're marching. You're going one tribe after another. You're marching to a destination. You're not there, right? And that is what's happening in the millennium. So in the millennium, we have the order of the tribes, and they're actually somewhat with the mothers again. But again, this, even in the millennium, when Christ reigns in 1,000 years, this is called the camp of the saints. And it's also in Jerusalem, which we'll show you. But what we're doing is it's a situation where they're actually occupying the land promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but it's not the final promised land. The final promised land is Abraham looked for a city whose builder and maker was God. That is New Jerusalem. So this is, even though this is 1,000 years in the order of the tribes, you can see it's a similar way happening in the march. Where are you marching towards? The millennium is not the final end. It's marching towards New Jerusalem. Okay? So New Jerusalem is the final. But it is a camp of the saints. It talks about the millennium. In Revelation chapter 20, the camp of the saints is what it looks like. Okay, so there we've established what this looks like, right? So that just like we've seen with the high priest breastplate, we've seen the order of the trumpet blowing, okay, the order of the coin, the shekel of the sanctuary, okay, and we can now go through the other times this has happened. So we see the marching order in the Exodus, how it relates to the millennium. All right, now that's the Exodus. And what we're doing here is now we're representing this in a way where you're seeing this happen multiple times. So we talked about Genesis 32, 33, where Jacob did this. We talked about the Exodus. These are times in the past. Now we're talking about the present. Now in the present, it's Revelation 7 and 14. It's the 144,000. You see, they form the same thing. They form the same structure of the 12 tribes. You see the same order of the mothers, okay, with the order of the cardinal points relating to a mother. Leah, okay, Bilhah, Zilpah, Rachel over here on the west. So they end up forming a structure of the 12 tribes that is just like the Exodus. Now, I saw someone else point this out, but you actually start counting and you divide up just like Jacob did into 2 camps in order to do this. So Judah is first at east, at this position east. Then you have Reuben, Gad, Asher, Naphtali, Manasseh. Okay, so that's half. Then you start over here back in east with Simeon. And you go Simeon, Levi, Issachar, Zebulun, Joseph, and Benjamin. So when you do that with the 2 groups, right, like Jacob did the 2 groups, that's how you come up with this order. And when this order comes up, now you can see Leah is positioned, Rachel is positioned. All right, perfect order. All right, then what this does is this happens again. So in the millennium, we showed you that the tribes are ordered in a way of marching, just like marching in the wilderness. And then at the center is Jerusalem. And the tribe of Levi is in the center. And what's in the center is the temple. And then the temple has something else called the city. And the city has 12 gates of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. And what happens is we actually have an order of Leah over here in the east and south, in both the Exodus and the 144,000. Then in the millennium, it slightly changes. Or over here in the east, we have Rachel. Okay. And Rachel is over here with Bilhah on the east. Okay, Leah stays the same in the south. And then Leah, that was over here, moves towards the north. Reuben, Judah, Levi. And then west is Zilpah and Bilhah. Okay, so we get a slight different order in what's called the city. You can read about this in Ezekiel 48. And again, this is for the millennial reign of Christ. There's the temple, and outside of the temple precinct area is another thing called the city. Now, this is for the future. So we have two things in the future. We have the millennial city. We have the tribal allotments. The other thing I want to point out, guys, is when the children of Israel entered the promised land with Joshua, I believe the Most High actually had this perfect order that they should divide up, right? But if you look at what they did not follow this at all. Moses gave them the instructions of where the north was and everything, and they just didn't follow it. They just did something totally different. Left side, you see the territory the children of Israel took with Joshua, and they took land on the east side, on the right side of the Jordan River. They weren't supposed to, and you see the perfect order that we see in the millennium. And so I wanted to show you that in two photos. Okay, but there's a perfect order. That's what I'm hoping you see. There's an actual perfect order of the Most High. He does things in perfect order. Okay, so in the millennium, we get this. Now, in the millennium, this is not permanent, so that afterwards, after 1,000-year reign of Christ, then we come to New Jerusalem. New Jerusalem has no end. And what we believe is that through the breastplate and through the stones that are on the high priest's breastplate, we are able to come up with the same stones that will represent New Jerusalem. So because we have the high priest breastplate, we got the stones related to tribes, then we believe we could come to terms with what those tribes are in New Jerusalem. It doesn't say it. It doesn't say it in Revelation. Revelation 21 talks about 3 tribes of the east, 3 tribes of the north, 3 tribes of the south, 3 tribes of the west. Well, if we apply the 144,000, that actually works in a perfect order. But we were able to line up what we believe is the 12 tribes in New Jerusalem based on the city. And it comes almost exact as the city with one exception. So you can see over here in the city, Joseph, Benjamin, Dan, towards the east. And that's what we have in New Jerusalem. Joseph, Benjamin, Dan. Zebulun, Issachar, Simeon. In the south, Zebulun, Issachar, Simeon. Exact. Over here in the north, Levi, Judah, Reuben. And the same thing here in the city, Levi, Judah, Reuben. And we've been able to come up with this with the gemstones. And then over here towards the west, we have a slight difference. Where in the city, we have Gad, Asher, Naphtali. And here we have Naphtali, Gad, Asher. Okay, so that again, Zilpah, being the mother of Gad and Asher, stays the same. Okay, but they seemingly move down, and Naphtali moves up. So besides that, we actually have a exact order of what we see in New Jerusalem. Okay, so that New Jerusalem would have similar things to the Exodus, right? Because then you have gates on the outside of the 12 tribes. You have the 12 leaders, which are the 12 apostles. They're camped, okay, in a cardinal point, okay? And we have the tribal names, okay? So how the city works is whatever tribe you are when you enter New Jerusalem, there's a gate on the outside, and you enter the city. And then the area inside the city pertains to your tribe. You see, so you come out, if you come out and leave New Jerusalem, you live in, okay, that tribal area, and you come and go through there, you see? So you leave and come and go through the same one. All right, so now hopefully you can see there's a perfect order of what we're calling the camp of the saints. And that you can see this camp of the saints in this order that we're showing it you happen 4 times. Okay, so when the Lamb stands on Mount Zion in Revelation 14, it's in the perfect order. It's called the camp of the saints. You have a city in Christ reigning in the millennium, 1,000 years. You have the same order, 12 tribes. And then in New Jerusalem, you have the same order, okay, 12 gemstones, okay, of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. All right. So guys, thanks for watching. This is Camp of the Saints. This is on a playlist called Show the Pattern, Measure the Design.